All right. So friends, this is AWS Cloud. Two ways to access AWS is through the GUI and through the CLI. Now, a popular way we address this GUI is called AWS Management Console. So if you're reading any document and you hear the word AWS Management Console, just know they are talking about the UI, okay? The interface you see, okay? This interface is called the AWS Management Console, all right? Which you can call the GUI. I hope that makes sense, all right? So in full, it's called AWS Management Console, all right? Good. Friends, either of the option you choose, once you log into AWS, to use AWS, you need to be a user, okay? The only way you can use AWS, right? You need to have an identity, all right? Just like the way you walk into an office, everybody that comes into that organization has an identity, all right? Either a security official, the HR, the CEO, they all have an identity, okay? Now, to use AWS, you need to have an identity, okay? In this case, AWS addresses identities most especially as users, okay? An identity can be a user, an identity can be a service or an application, right? Now, this context is users. So if I want to use AWS, I need to be a user. There are two major types of users in AWS, okay? Two types. I use the word major, okay? Two types of users in AWS, all right? Now, the first one is called the root user, okay? And the second one is called the IAM users. Friends, I want you to see this root user as the initial user that comes with AWS. Do you understand? For some of you, you saw root user on it. When you try to log in, it tells you you have to sign in with your root user. Okay? Now, that root user is the owner of the account. That's the owner of the account, the person who the account was created for. All right. That is the initial user that comes with the AWS account. That person has the superpowers. I hope that makes sense. That person has what? The superpower. Okay. Remember our fictitious company, right? Which was owned by Achiever and has a client, Mr. Abola, that's building a product, the gaming application, right? Let's assume that company, right? Let's assume in this case, we want to create an AWS account for, what is it called? Mr. Abiola's product, okay? We want to create an AWS account, all right? Now, in this context, right, the person who created that account automatically uses the root user account, okay? It is not a good practice to continually use this root account, because if you use this root account, if you lose the username, the password rather, okay, for any reason, you lose the password and somebody gets access to it, it's gone. The person could change the password. Of course, there are some restrictions AWS has put in place, okay, but AWS does not give people the permission, or AWS recommends that we do not use this user, okay? I needed to explain it before I go ahead to solve the problems last week. So everybody who has created an AWS account will notice that it comes with a root user account, okay? Now, the best way to work with AWS is to create what we call an IAM user. Now, let's move forward so that you can understand this better. So, in a typical company, right? In a typical company, let's say this company has different different staffs, Okay, so we have the IT department. Okay, we have the IT department. We have the, what is it called? We have the HR. That's the human resource department. Okay, let's say let's bring this here. Okay, let's say we also have the medics department or health department, or in most cases finance department. And then let's just say we have the security department. Okay, now this is a typical organization. Okay, this is a typical organization. Now in this organization, there are different departments and there are different users. Okay, now this department might comprise of maybe, let's say, 5 users. Okay, or 5 staffs, right? 5 staff. And the same thing in this case, let's say 5 staff, let's say 5 staff, and let's do 5 staff as well. Okay, or let's keep this one to 2. Okay, so this makes a total of 17. Now this organization can have different resources. Okay, if this is a bank or a health organization or a gaming company, right, regardless of the type of company, right, they have different staffs. Okay, now this organization has different resources and services they provide. Okay, so they have different services or resources they provide. Okay, and you will agree with me that not everybody has some level of restrictions. Everybody has some level of restriction. Okay, if we take a bank for instance, there are some places that some people will not cross, right? Now the same way in the bank we have customers, right? There are some places they are going to place, is there's a sign, a post that could say this entrance is for staff only. If you remember, some banks, they'll tell you staff only, so you can't enter that area if you're not a staff. Okay, so I want us to imagine this illustration, okay, whereby we have an organization, okay, different departments and different services. Okay, now anybody who wants to come into this organization, right? Let's say this is the entrance to this organization. This person has to provide some form of let's come here and say user art. Okay, so let's come here, copy this. Right, good. So anybody who is coming through this gate, the person has to provide what? A form of ID. Okay, if the person does not provide a form of identity, the person will not come in here. Please, is that true? If that's true, can you just type yes on the comment section? If you understand my illustration so far, just type yes on the comment section. Okay, if you understand, just type yes on the comment section. Just, I'll be sure. Okay, good, great. Now, this person goes in through this entry point, providing an identity card. Okay, with the help of this ID, this person will be given access to the organization, right? Now, and the person can go to his respective department and then perform a specific service to attend to the customer. Okay, now there are some certain service, or there's sometimes there are different levels of clearance. Okay, some persons do not have permission to touch, to do some certain things based on different levels of clearance or access level they have. All right, now I want to believe everybody understands this simple analogy. Okay, now let's assume that this is how Chief Abiola's organization is. Okay, and because we built a product for them for their gaming application. Okay, so let's call this Chief Abiola's company. Okay, so this is Chief Abiola's company. Now as a cloud engineer, one of your job, okay, sometimes, not all the time, okay, sometimes it is expected for a cloud engineer to know how to migrate. That's the key word, migrate. Okay. So if we want to encourage Chief Abiola to utilize cloud, okay, the cloud computing service, the benefits of public cloud, right? To utilize it, okay? One of the things we need to do, okay, if we want Chief Abiola to start using the cloud. So let's say in this case, this is now AWS cloud. All right. This is AWS cloud. Let's put it this way. So let's come here. Okay. Abiola's. Okay. Let's put this cloud. Let's put AWS so that it makes sense and everybody can understand this analogy. Okay, good. So this is an AWS account we created for Chief Abiola. Do you understand? Now, your job as the cloud engineer is to migrate, okay, all the stuff, everything that is happening here, the workload, the services, everything, the way it works here, right? Your job is to migrate the whole architecture to the cloud, all right? So what we are doing right now is what we call migration. Don't forget, that's the key word, migration, okay? So as you try to do a migration, okay, now you want to be able to make sure that all the staffs still have access, okay? Now, in this case, AWS tells you for you to successfully do this operation, right? There's something, it's a service called IAM, right? IAM, which stands for Identity and Access Management. All right? That's what it implies. This is what it means. Identity and access management. All right? So if you come to AWS and type on the search bar IAM, right? Lowercase or uppercase is still going to return this. Okay? So you can see this, right? This service is amongst AWS has over 200 services, over 300 right now, if I'm correct. Okay, you can always use Google and say how many services does AWS has. Okay, so of course over 200, as you can see. Okay, so over 200 as at March 2024. You see that? Good. Now, friends, remember that I've shown you the AWS service IAM. It manages access to AWS resources. Okay, so your job is to see how you can deploy all this infrastructure, everything, the workload that Chief Abiola has in his company, to migrate it to AWS. Okay, and thereby use AWS services for some of the things your staff do. Okay, now, and this, remember I say it's migration. Okay, now AWS tells you one of the services that can help you to do that, okay, it's called IAM, Identity and Access Management. Now, there is what we call IAM components, all right? IAM components, right? Now, there are so many of them, but we usually limit it to, let's scroll, okay? The AWS IAM components usually includes, sorry, one, users, two, groups, three, policies, four, rules. These are the popular IAM components. In other words, this service called IAM, it has some components, okay? For you to utilize the services, there are about 4 components. Now, there are many other features that comes around it, but let's limit our learning to just these 4 components. So as a cloud engineer, your job is to use these components to migrate the workloads on Chief Abiola's company to the cloud. How do we do this? Now, the first thing we are going to do is we are going to try to evaluate the current status of Chief Abiola's company. I'm trying to use simple terminologies we can get used to, okay? We'll do an evaluation, right? And know the total number of staff, okay? Know their respective departments, okay? And know their respective roles, okay? Or titles. So I'll come here, I'll come here and type evaluation, right? Okay, or let's put it this way and say evaluation. So in our evaluation, the first thing we need to know is names of staffs. The second thing we need to know is title and department, or let's say title 3, department. So I think this title should tell us their clearance or access level. Let's put it this way. Okay. All right. I think access level. In other words, the resources they can use. Resources they can use. Okay, good. So let's do this. Now, this is the architecture we have. So let's get the names of the staff. The first thing we are going to do, let's just assume that we have Mary, we have Ima, we have Joy, we have, okay, let's say we have Abiola, we have Fred, and let's click here, Control D. Let's come here and say we have Felicia, we have Timothy, we have Sarah, we have Vivian, we have Choma, we have Toby, right? So let's come here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So let's just keep this number of users, okay? So let's say these are the names of the users, okay? And we're just going to come here and just put this here and say, we'll just come here and I say these are the names of the staff, okay? So I'll try to replicate this and say Control D. Let's have something like this again and say we have different titles ranging from let's say senior and maybe Control D. Let's just keep it senior and junior, nothing much, okay? And let's come here, right, and paste this. Okay, now 2. So this is the title we have. Now, third thing we need are departments. So we'll come here, Control D. Okay, so we come here and let's say we have IT department. Okay, let's say we have HR department. Let's say we have finance department. Let's say we have audit department. And let's say we have security department. Sorry. It doesn't really matter, but let's just, okay. So let's say these are the departments we have. All right. So, okay, good. So 3. Okay, good. Now for the fourth one, I'll explain it later. So this is the evaluation we've done. Okay. We've gotten the names, the titles, we've gotten the departments. Okay. Now, how do we use this IAM components? Okay. So with this evaluation we've done, we can be able to start our migration. Okay. So let's assume that we want to start working on the IT department. Okay. So we already know from, you will know how to categorize it. Okay. But let's just take it one at a time. Let's say these are the names of the people we have: Mary, Ima, Joy, Abiola. So let's create users for these few persons on AWS. Okay. So we'll come here. Remember, we've started the migration. The job is to do the migration. Okay. And in the process of doing the migration, you did evaluation. You got their names, their titles, their departments. So these are the names. So to migrate them to AWS, all right, this is the AWS account. You're going to click what? IAM. And if you watch here, you'll see users. But I'll just click on this right now. And when you do this, you're going to see an IAM page. All right. So if you're following alongside with me, that's great. For some reason, I don't know why this is lagging. So, all right. So while that is lagging, let me see if I can check. It's frustrating. So, what I wanted to do was to create users. Okay. We'll pick a particular user and show you how to create an account for that particular user on AWS. We pick another user and I'll show you how to create another user on AWS. Okay. So, but for some reason, my AWS page is not loading. Okay, good. So this is an AWS account that we have here. So I'm just going to click here and type IAM and click on IAM. Right. Beautiful. Okay, good. Friends, this is how the IAM account looks like. Now, even though you have, what is it called? Friends, if like me, you can see root user here, that's fine. Okay. I expect everybody to have something like this, root user. Okay. Now, I've told you the difference already. Okay. So I'm going to show you what to do. Okay. So in this case, we want to create an IAM user for one of the staff called Mary. Okay. How do we do that? If you look by the left side, okay, you're going to see something called users. Okay. You see another component called roles, another component called policies, another component called groups. Okay. So it used to be just groups, but right now it's called user groups. Okay. So don't forget the components we mentioned: IAM components: users, groups, policies, and roles. Okay. User groups, users, policies, roles, and policies. Okay. So we are measuring on just this 4. Okay. Right now, my account says I have 4 users. Some of you will see 0. Okay. And that's fine. Don't worry yourself. You're in good shape. Now, how do we create a user on AWS? Kindly click on this, users. Okay. Now, when you do that, it's going to populate this page. All right. Now, the next thing you want to do is this. If you watch here, you should be able to see create user. Okay. Create user. Click on it. Okay. Now, it's going to prompt you to enter the username. And ours says the name is what? Mary. Okay. So we'll type Mary. Now, provide user access to the management console. So it's asking you a question. How do you want to access AWS? Do you want to access AWS using the GUI or the CLI? That's what this means. Provide this user an access to the GUI or an access to AWS Management Console. Okay, so because we want Mary to be able to see the UI to click on it, I'll just check this box. Did you see that? Now, the next thing you see is I want to create an IAM user. Okay, so in other words, this user I'm creating is not going to be a root user. It's going to be an IAM user. Okay, so I'm going to choose this one, right? So this is just like, this is a feature in AWS that has, even though it's recommended, but this is a feature in AWS that has aggregated users. Okay, it's like saying, if you've ever heard about what we call Azure what we call directory, okay, like an identity directory, a directory for your organization. Your organization has pool of users that has been identified. Okay, so if you want to use that same identification means to work on AWS, then you use this. All right, so you don't need to perform any form of identification. You want to use the identification system, okay, that is unique to your organization, then you use this. But for these use cases, please just follow my steps. All right, so we're going to choose this one called, I want to create an IAM user. Okay, so when I check this box, I will scroll to the bottom. Now it's prompting me, do you want to enter a console password? Okay, that's the password for the interface. Do you want to auto-generate one? Do you want me to auto-generate one for you? Or do you want to create a custom password? Okay, so I will choose this and type the password I want. Okay, so for this example, I'm just going to type the passwords that I want here. So I will type Mary, okay, and okay, so I've created a password. Remember, it must match this description. Okay, it must be 8 characters long and some other kinds of things, right? You must combination of uppercase, lowercase, and some symbols. All right, good. So if I come here, I will just, okay, good. So now the next thing it's telling me, if you click on this, it's going to show the password here. Before you do that, please, if you're working in an organization, ensure that no one is looking over your shoulder. Okay, so you don't expose the password. All right, if you happen to be the cloud engineer, you want to be careful, all right, when assigning passwords to people. Now, second thing is this: users must create a new password at signing. If you're working for an organization, let's use our example here. Remember, all these things we are doing, I am creating it for Chief Abiola's company. If I give them a custom password, it means that I will know the password for Mary. Is that true? It's not only Mary that knows this password. Because it's a custom one, it means I also know the password. Does that make sense? But if I check this box which says users must create a new password at their next sign in, what does it mean? It means that whenever Mary gets ready to sign in, it's going to prompt Mary to change the password from what I gave her to something she wants. I hope that makes sense. Just listen to it again. From what I created for her, it will prompt her to change it to her own desired password. Okay, good. AWS recommends this. All right. So I will choose this for now. I'll just leave it at this. Now I'll click on next. Now I know it's going to prompt me here because of what the type of password I entered here. So it does not meet this criteria. So I'll just come back here and try to do something. So make sure it meets that criteria. I'll click on this. Okay, so this is the password. Remember, if you're not doing this on your computer, please do not click on save. All right, it's not a good practice to save passwords over the browser. Okay, good. Why? Because someone can just come to your computer and gain access to the password if they know, for some reason they could just export the file. Okay, if you don't set password on your console login, your initial Windows login. All right, so let's keep to this. So I'll just click on never. Okay, now friends, if you notice the first step we got here, this is the first step. Okay, you can always click on previous, and this is what we did. Okay, so there are 4 steps: step 1, step 2, 3, and 4. So we, sorry, you can close this. If you scroll down, this is the next button. All right, click on next. Now we're currently on step 2 to set permissions. At this stage, all right, I'm not going to do anything. Okay, so I'm going to just click on, so it's telling me to add, there are 3 ways: add user to a group, copy permission, attach policy. So for this example, I'll just choose this. Okay, I'll choose this. It's asking me to attach policy. Because we've not learned what policy is, I won't bother about choosing any policy here. Okay, don't worry. So take note again, when you get to step 2, just choose what? Attach policies directly. Scroll to the bottom without choosing any policy and click on next. Did you see that? So we're currently on the step 3, review and create. So you review it. The username is Mary. The custom password has been set and it requires a reset password. And this is the permission that was attached to it. Don't worry about this for now. Okay. Then it gives us opportunity to add a tag. Now, with the help of tag, it helps us to identify the users and any other resources. For this simple example, friends, just know that because during our evaluation, we ask for things like title. So I will just come here and add a new tag and say title. I'll come here and say junior. Okay? Or junior staff. It's not compulsory. You mustn't put this. Okay? You mustn't put this. So you can have title junior, you can have name, you can put departments and so on. As many as possible. I can click here and say department and put the department she belongs to. All right? So it's just a tag. You can always remove it by clicking on this. All right? So when you're done, friend, please click on create user. Okay? Now, notice that we're in the 4th step. Step 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is the 4th step. That's telling you to retrieve your password. Friends, don't rush. Please, this is the URL. So right now, I need to share this URL with Mary. So I'll click on it. And this is Mary. I can paste it here. So this is the URL for Mary. Okay? Universal resource locator. So this is the URL for Mary. I need to share it with Mary. Okay? And this is the username. I'll come here and I'll paste it. So this is the username and this is the password. So now because it's sensitive, if I click on this and paste it here, you all will be able to see the password. I'm trying to teach you security practices, even though I know I can always change this. So I'm not going to paste it, just so that you can be more security conscious. All right, good. So I know the password. It's in my memory. Okay. So now if you cannot remember this, friends, AWS helps you. Did you see download.csv file? So this information here, AWS is telling you you can download it. Okay. So if I click on this, it gives me, can you see? Mary's credential is here. You see that? And if I open this, it's going to show me all these details inside. I won't open it because if I open it, you still see the password. You see? Good. Now, when I'm done, I can also email it. Okay? Email a sign-in instruction, right? But we'll keep it very simple. So I'll just click on return to the users list. So if I click on this, it will take me back to where I was. Friends, did you notice before it was 4 users, but right now it's 5. So this is the one we just created, which is for Mary. Friends, this is how to create a user. So right now we've been able to create our first user account, a user on AWS. If this makes sense, can you please type yes on the comment section? If you understand how to create the user, type yes. I just want to be sure you all understand. Okay, good, good. So, friends, now that we've all understood how to create a user, now I will be much more faster. I deliberately slowed my pace so that everybody watching this video or following will understand. Now, I'm going to repeat the same thing for Abola and for Toby, okay? I'll create two users, Abiola and Toby, but I'll create it faster. Okay, the same thing we did, but I'll do it faster. Okay, so now, how do I do it? I'll come here. Okay, so remember, you click on users, it takes you to this page. You click on create user. Okay, so I'll come here and type Abiola. All right, I want to provide access. I'll select this. I want to create IAM user. I'll select this. Custom password. I'll choose this. I'll say okay. So for this example, I will show you, I won't check this one, but I can always leave it. Okay, let's leave it. I'll click on next. And I told you, you choose this, attach policies directly. Scroll down, click on next, and click on create user. Can you see I was faster now? I've created the second one and I was much more faster. You see that? So I'll click on download this. All right. So let's create the third one very fast. So I'll click on return to users list. So this is 6. I'll create the third one now. Fred. And I'll click on this. I'll click on this. Click on this. I'll leave this box checked and I'll click on next. I'll choose this attach policies directly, scroll down and click on next. And then I'll click on create user. So friends, so this is the details. I'll click on download the CSV. So these are the 3 users I created. If you click on this, you notice that 3 plus 4 we had before is 7. So these are the users we have. So we are making great progress, right? So now one of the tasks I'm giving to every one of you is that at the end of the class, I'll expect you to have a structure of your own. Okay, you're going to do you do a lot of things, but let's just get more clarity, then we'll move on. Okay, so friends, if you notice, I did not add those tags for those other 2. Okay, as regards the title. Okay, so but I've already created it, but I think you can still add some tags. I think so, but let's don't worry about it. It's just to tell you that you can create it with or without the tags. Okay, now friends, let's get back to this. So if we come here right now, we have Miri, we have Fred, we have Abiola. Is that true? And which other person do we have? Is it Toby? Let's check. Mary. Yeah, it's just this 3. 1, 2, 3. Right? So these are the 3 users we just created right now. Friends, let's assume that these are the only 3 people we want to test. Okay. Now, we want these people to use the services. Okay. So let's assume that in the cloud, right, there are so many other services. Okay. One of the service, there are so many services, about 200. Okay. Because we want these users to be able to access it. The first thing we want to do is to send them their user accounts so that they can confirm. All right. So we're going to send Mary her credentials. Okay. So this is Mary's credentials here. Okay. So I'm going to come here and just copy this. All right. Now I'm going to click here and paste this link here. Okay. And hit enter. Okay. So watch what's going to do. Now, watch, the first thing you should see is this. This is sign in with root user email. This is forgot password, but this is sign in as IAM user. Let me take you back to the previous view you usually see. If you click on this, this is what you're going to see. Watch what's going to happen. it's going to take you to the view whereby you are going to sign in as a root user. Okay. So, please, can you show up faster? Okay. This is taking time. Okay, good. So this is what the view you all usually see. Is it not true? Good. So root user, IAM user. So instead of using this method right now, Mary is no longer a root user. Okay. We created Mary using IAM. So we will choose this box here called IAM user. I hope that makes sense. So when I select this, I need to enter the account ID. It's asking me for the ID. All right. Now, if you check the sheet, okay, there's this sheet here. Okay. This sheet here, we used it to, thus it contains the ID. Okay. So another way I can get it is if I click on Mary among these users, right? If I choose Mary, right, it's going to take me to this page. Okay. And then you can see a lot of information now, but for some reason this is lagging. Yeah. So, but right now it's asking us for the account ID. Let's see if this can load faster. Okay. So friends, this is the account ID here. Okay. This is the account ID. So even if you create 20 users, they will all have the same account ID. Don't forget that. Okay. AWS will give you one account with associated to one account ID. And that ID, you can create as many users as possible. Don't forget that. So every user does not have a different IAM or a different ID, account ID. Don't forget that. So this is the account ID. So I'll copy this, all right? And it's asking me, when I choose IAM user, it's asking me for the ID. I'll paste it here. I hope that makes sense. I'll click on next. Now, the next thing it's going to do is take me to a new page to sign in as an IAM user. Now, it's asking me for the IAM username, all right? Now, remember, you're going to send those information to, what's her name? To Mary, okay? So the username is Mary based on the sheet. If you check the Excel sheet we used, okay? So, but in this case, you can always get it from here. The username is Mary. So you come here and type Mary. It's asking for the password. So you can check the sheet. You'll see the name, but I already know it. So I'm going to do this. Okay. Now, friends, do you remember when I was creating it? It said you must reset the password. That's what this page means. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so I need to put the old password. So now Mary is going to be changing the password so that the person who created the account does not have access to her account using the password they used to create it. Okay, so I'm going to put the password here, Mary. So I'm going to put a new password right now. So let's wait a little while. So once everything matches and sticks, follows the AWS IAM policy, that's password policy, it's going to grant us access. For some reason, this page is lagging. It ought to have displayed faster than this. So if you're following alongside with me, I'm sure you must confirm that you already have access to this. You should have access to the page already. So let's wait a little while. Let's wait a little while. So while the page is loading, that is how to create an IAM account. Now, so let's move on so that will be faster, okay? While this page is lagging, because I can see the time we've already exhausted a lot of time here. So friends, do you agree? I want to ask us a question. Do you notice that we have different users here? So we are going to be creating all these users. So that is one thing. We're going to create all these users. We're going to onboard all of them on AWS. Okay. Now, but there's something we want to do. Okay. Hold on. I'm trying to log this in. This is taking time. So while it's, one thing I want you to know is this, right? This user called Mary right now, these users right now that we created, by default, they will not be able to create any service. They won't be able to do anything. Let me put a big disclaimer, okay, or note. By default, all users, okay, are, let's bring it down here. All users are denied access, okay, by default. And we're going to prove this so you can understand what I mean. So let's see. Okay, this is trying to load. For some reason, it didn't load properly. Please bear with me. Let's see. Okay, good. So friends, if you watch right now, did you notice that the name we have here is Mary? Can you see Mary at the account ID? So take notes. Take notes. One of your assignments is that you're going to create an account you're going to be using for this program. Okay? Your own personal account you will be using for this program. Okay? Your account you'll be using for this program. Okay? So for this example, don't forget that this is just Mary we created. And as long as we can see Mary here, it means that Mary has access to these resources. Okay, to her account. Mary can see so many things. Friends, do you just notice that we've seen our first error, access denied? Wow, how come Mary is getting access denied? For what? So Mary could be complaining. She'll be like, I don't know what's happening. I'm getting access denied, access denied. So if we try to log in with Fred and Abola, they will also get the same access denied. Even though they log in quite all right, but there are some things they cannot see. Okay, for instance, there's another service here called, there are so many services. So let's assume there's one of the popular service called EC2. Okay, remember the virtual server we talked about. Okay, we want to create a server to host Chief Abiola's application. So we use a service called EC2. If I click on this, right, watch what's going to happen. Now, when I get access to this, did you notice what's happening? It's greeting Mary with so much errors. You understand? API error, API error. So Mary is confused. What's going on? I don't understand. Please, is this how it works? You understand? So the first thing Mary will do is to complain to the admin, to the person who created the account. I'm getting access denied. Okay, so that's what I mean by default, all users are denied access. Now, this is because we did not attach something we call a policy. Okay, now friends, we've learned how to create users. Is that true? Let's try, let me be faster so that I can show you other things. So if I come to this account here, okay, this is the account that created everything. Okay, this account created every other thing we have. Let me click on this, and for some reason this is not loading. Let's go to the home page again and see. We're supposed to be seeing something here. I wanted to show you all. So let's see if the page loads faster so I can show you. So you're still going to be seeing the root account. Now, for some of you that are wondering, maybe you are, if you're watching this video at a later time or you're practicing alongside with me, you will notice that I'm using two different browsers. Okay. Yes, it's Google Chrome. You see, this is Google Chrome. This is Google Chrome. Okay. Now, one thing you should quickly realize is I'm signed in using one of my accounts called Cloud and Cyber. If you check this one, you're going to see this is dummy cybersec. All right. I hope this makes sense. So this is seeing this as a different account from this. But if you're using the same browser, the same account, right, AWS is going to sign you out. Okay, you can only sign into one account on your browser. So to solve that problem is either you create another email account and then create a different profile. Okay, this is how to do it. You click on add and create a different profile, or you just open a new browser. I mean, open a different browser, like maybe Microsoft Edge or Firefox, okay, or any other browser. Or you can even open this in incognito mode, all right? So you can always open it in incognito mode, all right? This is the popular way people do it, okay? So you can test Mary's account or any other account here, okay, so that it will not sign you out of it. You will understand this when you are practicing better, okay? So friends, please bear with me. The network is lagging and that's why my pace is a little bit slow. So it's been raining all morning and it's cloudy here. Let's see. Okay, so this is what I want to do. Let's do a classwork immediately right now. So we're going to do a classwork. So please, for those of you that already created your account, okay, this is what I want you to do. We're going to pause what we have here right now. I want you to create an IAM account for yourself. Okay, remember I told you that I don't want you to use your root account for this program. Okay, so I want you to create an IAM. I want you to create an IAM user. I've taught you how to do that. Okay, so what I want you to do is to create an IAM user for yourself. Now, but I want you to stop at the second step. Okay, so you can call it any name you feel like. Okay, you can call it any name you feel like. Now, when you've done the first step and you get to the second step, please let me know. Okay, I'll be checking for your messages and just let me know when you get to that point on the second step. Okay, I'm using this to buy time while this loads faster. For some reason, it's lagging. Okay, so please remember I said you should create an IAM user. Okay, so if I come to IAM right now, I click on, so this is Mary's account. Don't forget, if you click, so I'm asking you guys to go to IAM, all right, and then click on users and try to create your own user. Okay, remember, you can only do this from the root account at this moment. Okay, I've not shown you how to add the admin access or policy rather. So let's see. Oh, this is not helpful. So once you've done that, please let me know. Okay, let me know. I'll be checking the comment section. For those of you who still have what is it called, account issues, so this is how we want to help you solve the problem. Okay, let me show you all so that you can be rest assured that we have you at the back of our mind in all this. So there's let me show you. For now, in the course of the session, we'll be giving you access to a playground. Okay, we'll be giving you access to a playground. Now, I'll say it again, for those of you who have problems with your AWS account, you've not been able to create one, okay, just for this for the purpose of participating in the class, okay, this is what we call an AWS Sandbox playground, okay, even though the services are very limited, okay, very limited, and it's only available for 3 hours. Okay, so now, but what will happen is this, because we know it's for learning purpose, right? if for any reason we give you access to this link and maybe you are practicing and the only thing is this, you will have to repeat it again. And then secondly, if you still need access, once you place a demand, we will regenerate the link and send it to you again. Okay? For now, this is the best we could come up with. Although, if this doesn't help, I'm going to create an IAM account for you. Or rather, this is what I'm thinking. Okay? So right now that every one of you, I want to believe that every one of you know how to create an IAM user, right? I want us to help one another. Okay, so I'm sure the number of persons that don't have AWS account, they're about 20 or so, and we're over 150, right? So about 50 or 100 of you that already have your AWS account. Um, can you please be kind enough to create an IAM user for someone that doesn't have an AWS account? Now, but before you do that, you need to learn how to give the person the right permission so that what the person can do. The person will not spin up services that will spike your AWS bills, and then you feel frustrated or angry because you gave access to somebody else. All right, so you need to understand it and balance it. Okay, so these two ways are the ways we are going to solve that problem, and this is simply because they've not been able to create the account yet. So this is pending when they will be able to solve the problem of maybe the bank issue or the credit card issue. All right. So for the most part of it is usually the bank that blocks the access. So you need to go to your bank and tell them to help you to open it up, and then you can be able to do that. Okay. So I think we've said that, but this is giving me issues. I really don't know. So let's see if this playground can come up. Okay, I want to do something quickly. For those of you participating, following on ground right now, is there anybody currently practicing? How many of you are currently practicing right now and you're sure your network is 100% reliable? So we're going to be wrapping up the class in the next 20 to 30 minutes. Okay? Okay, good. So, Mr. Tayo, okay, let me see. Either Tayo or Damilari, Michael, whichever one. Just if you can you, I want to be sure that you have between Michael and Dam and then Tayo, please. Just the first two people there, right? You're sure your network is very, very reliable, right? Because if you all can see that I'm struggling here. So this is what I want to do. I want to give you access to share your screen, and then I'll take control and we'll be able to use that to do the illustration. I think that's what I would have used, because for some reason this is hampering our pace. Okay, so if you're very, very sure, I'm going to give you permission to present. Okay, so let's see. Please, could you just indicate by raising up your hand, either Tayo or what's it called, Mr. Michael Damilari, please. Once you want to help us. Okay, Tayo's hand is up already. So let's click here and say make a presenter. So Mr. Tayo, you've been made a presenter right now. Okay, so please kindly share your screen. All right, so once you share your screen, okay, beautiful, beautiful. Right, beautiful. So friends, I'm going to be dictating to Tayo, since I think it should be faster if he's the one following the steps. All right. So at this point, I want to show you how to create the IAM accounts you will be using for this program for yourself. We've already learned how to create IAM user, but because of the whole network glitch, right, I just want to show you how to create a specific IAM user for your account. Okay, the one you'll be using for this program. Okay, so first of all, Michael, can you take us, sorry, Mr. Tayo, can you take us a step backward? Previous, just go to previous step. You can scroll to the bottom and just click on previous. Previous. Yes. Okay, beautiful. So the name you are using is what? Olumide. Okay, so take note of the name. So any other person, you can use any other name you want to use. All right. So let's scroll to the bottom. I want to be sure everybody understand this step. So you can click next. Good. Now, if we allow Mr. Tayor to create this AWS account the way I taught you all, right? You will notice that Tayor will have problems creating anything. You will not have the right permission to do something. Okay. So for this example, for this illustration, uh, his screen is visible. I'm seeing it. If I can see it, I'm sure you should be able to see it. Okay. I will encourage you to just disconnect and reconnect back. Okay. So Mr. Tayo, if you watch the third button we have there is attach policies directly. Now, if you watch the second section, we have what? Permissions policies, and you see there are about 1,224. Is that true? 1,224. Okay, good. 1,224 permissions policies. Good. Now, among the list of policies you see there, we are going to choose the second one, which says what? Administrator access. If you look at it, you're going to see administrator's access. So let's check the box. Administrator access. Friends, take note of what we are doing. We are trying to create an IAM user that will be able to perform like the root account, but it's not the root. Okay? It's just like saying the CEO created someone head of operations. Okay, it's like saying the head of operations or the COO, or maybe the owner of the land has a caretaker. Okay, so in this case we are creating a user called Olumide, and Olumide, we want to give him as administrator access. I hope that makes sense. Okay, we want to give Olumide administrator access. So we've selected the policy we want to attach to the user Olumide. Please, can you scroll to the bottom? So that's the only one. If you watch there, you see 1/1224. Okay, 1 out of 1224. So you might want to disconnect and come back. Okay, I can see his screen clearly. I think it's a network issue. Please. All right. Okay, so please click on the next button at the bottom. That, remember friends, is only one policy he added. Only one. Okay, good. So friends, step 1, we created the user. Step 2, we set a permission. All right. Step 2, we set a permission. So if you watch that permission summary, you will see 2 things are added there: administrator access and IAM user change password, which means there are 2 policies that has been attached to that user. This user can change his password, and this user has administrator access. Okay, so now if you want to give it a tag, you can give it a tag if you want to. So, but in this case, we'll skip the tag. Now let's click on create user. Good. Now you please, I'm sure you still remember the detail, right? Good. So rather than going out of this, let's open incognito mode, please. We're going to open, so we've created this account right now. So open this account incognito mode. I mean, rather open your browser in incognito mode, depending on the type of browser you're using. Okay, good. Beautiful. Thank you. Good. Now, if you go to the other place, we need the URL login. Is that not true? Okay, so just minimize, or you switch to the other one. So we're just going to be switching. Okay, good. Now, can you see the console URL? Good, beautiful. So copy it and then go to the incognito mode and paste it there. Okay. Good. Now hit enter, please. Beautiful. So that's the account ID. You can cross-check it with what you have, but I'm sure that's the account ID. So it's asking us for the IAM username. Good. So you can go there and you check it and copy the username. So I'm sure Mr. Tayo knows the name. So go ahead and put the username and then put the password. So, but of course, you can check that page and it will give you all the details. Go ahead, please. Sign in. Good. Can you see it's prompting him to enter password details? All right, go ahead. So he needs to change it. Okay, beautiful. Awesome. Awesome. Good. So friends, if you watch by the right side, you will notice that we have Olumide at, you see the account ID there at the top right section. See Olumide at, then you see an account ID there. Okay. So that is to tell you we've been able to create an IAM user. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the IAM user you will be using entirely for this program. Okay. Do not use your root accounts. Okay. Just dump your root account and do not tamper with it. You're going to be using your IAM user. Okay. So everything we are doing is going to be on this IAM user. Okay. Because we've given, so if you notice the error message is, there's right now, there's no error message. So let's go and click on EC2. Let's check and see. Can you, either you click on the EC2 there or you use the search bar and type EC2. Either of them. You will notice that those errors we got when we tried with Mary, it's not showing. Why? Because can you see there's no error here? Why? Because we've granted a policy to who? This user called Olumide. Friends, I hope this makes sense to everybody. Okay, so this is how to create an IAM user. Okay, now we've learned a little bit about policy. Okay, now I'm going to share my screen. Then when I need Mr. Olumide to take over, he will take over so that I can explain something, then we can wrap it up. Okay, so friends, we have a few minutes and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, but I'm still going to touch the policy again, so friends, don't worry. So I'm going to share my screen. I want to believe that everybody can see my screen. And if you can see my screen, that's good. So friends, one thing I'm going to tell Mr. Olumide to help us to do is this. Okay, we are going to remember in the original company there are group departments. Okay, so in AWS we're going to use something called groups or user groups. Okay, and then when we create a user group, we can now put all the users inside that group. Does that make sense? So these are the users. So for instance, if you watch here, these are different users here. These are all the staff names. Okay. So in most cases, let me make this more understandable so that you all get the big picture. So I'm going to do this before I touch anything. So friends, let's say we have this. So I'm going to choose this and bring this. Okay. So we have this. Okay, good. So first of all, you all will agree with me that as we create users, okay, so let's assume that every user has, because we have different resources, right? So I'm going to come to the bottom to explain something. I'll come down here. So let's say we have a resource called EC2, okay, or a service called EC2, and there's another service called S3, okay. Now And these are services on the cloud. Okay, friends, let's assume that those in the IT departments, okay, everybody, or let me use Mary for instance. So this is Mary, okay, and this is Ima, okay. So the way it is, Mary is supposed to have access to this, and Mary is also supposed to have access to this resource. Her job requires her to have access to these two resources. Okay? Clearance. Okay? Now, but Ima is a junior staff, not a senior staff like Mary. Ima is only supposed to have access to EC2. Do you understand? Ima is not supposed to have access to this. You understand? So we are not supposed to give Ima access at all. Do you understand? Ima is not supposed to have access to S3. Ima only has access to EC2. So friends, you will notice that anytime you create a user on AWS, by default, no user has access. Even Mary does not have any access. Okay? But right now, I showed you how I can create a user. Let's say Olumide. Okay? And that user, so if AWS has this, let's assume that this is all services. Okay? So if AWS has all the services, if there's something you can attach, so let's say this is the CEO, right? Mary is just a senior staff. You understand? Mary is a senior staff. Okay? And Mary is also supposed to have access to EC2 and S3. But Olumide is the CEO. He's supposed to have access to everything. So there is something we do. So instead of pointing Olumide to this and this, we just point Olumide to this. So Olumide has access to all the services on the cloud, which includes this and this. But Mary has access to only this and this. And Emmanuel has access to only this. I hope this analogy makes sense to everybody. Okay? So if, for instance, Mary, so if, for instance, we have another person, okay, and this person's name is Toby, okay, and we have another person whose name is Abiola, okay, and these three people, they are all senior engineers, okay, they are all senior engineers, not junior engineers. They are just like Mary, okay. You know, I'm supposed to give them access to, right? I'm supposed to give them access to EC2 and give them access to S3. Is that true? So the same thing with Abiola. I'll give him access to this and give him access to this. Friends, you know, this is going to be very, very tiring if we have more users. So if, for instance, I come again and tell you, okay, we also have Felicia and we also have, what is it called? Root, for instance, okay? So I don't know why I'm using female names, but I mean, it's fine. So more friends, so that's okay. So now let's say we have roots. Now we have to do the same thing. So rather than doing all these things I did, right? How about you use an IAM component called group? Okay. So instead of doing this, we'll create a group. Okay. We will create a group. Okay. And this group, we will label this group and call it senior engineers. So it's a group we created. So instead of putting only, so when we create a group called senior engineers, okay, we will now say that anybody in this group automatically have access to EC2 and have access to S3. Now, what do you think I can do? So if I bring Mary inside here, I don't need to do anything to Mary. automatically Mary inherits the permission or the clearance level that is in this group. The same thing with Toby. Once Toby enters this group, inside there, he has access to this and to this. If Abiola enters here, Abiola has access to this and to this. The same thing with Felicia. You understand? So they all have access to this. But if for some reason Toby was fired or transferred to another department, Toby will no longer have access to S3 and to EC2. This is how groups work. Please, if you understand this, can you just type yes on the comment section? If you understand it, we'll now practicalize it and then we'll call it a day. All right? If you understand, can you just type yes on the comment section just to be sure you all understand? Okay, good. So, Mr. Olumide, right? If I'm correct, Tayo rather. So please, can you share your screen now so we can practicalize it? So, while he's trying to share his screen, I'm sure you all can still see my screen quickly. Let me show you something. So remember, okay, don't worry. Go ahead. Don't worry. Go ahead. Let's do it practically. So I'm going to give you guys a task so that you can understand this better. Okay. So okay, are you there? Okay, beautiful. So click on that return to users list. Return to users list. Return to users list at the bottom here. Click on it. At the bottom. Beautiful. Yes. Click on continue. Click on continue. Good. Exactly. So it's more or less like either license or clearance kind of. So now, so what we want to do now is we're going to create groups. So can you see users group at the top there? Good. Create users groups. Click on it. So if you watch here, there is no group right now. So you can see 0 there. Is that true? You can see 0 there. So what I want you to do is to click on create group at the top right. You see the yellow label there? Create group. Beautiful. Good. So let's give the group a name. Let's give the group a name. Okay. Now scroll to the, so we won't do anything right now. Okay. We won't do anything. I can do it this way, but I don't want to show you this method because if you see the second section, you notice that it says add users to the group and it shows you a user called Olumide. Is it true? So you can easily just check the box. So you can have many users there and then check the users you want to add into that group you are naming. So you can either check the box or not, but I'll just show you another way, okay? But this method also works. So scroll to the bottom, please. Good. Now this is adding permission. Remember, I told you you can attach the permission to the group, okay? So in this case, you can choose the permissions you want to attach to that group by selecting the checkbox, okay? So now in this case, I don't want to put any permission. So I'll just scroll to the bottom and say create user group. It's that simple. That is how to create a user group. So it doesn't accept space. So remove the space there. Here. Good. So scroll to the bottom and create the group, please. Beautiful. So that's how easy it is to create a group. So, but did you notice it say permissions not defined? It means that anybody that enters this group does not have permission to do anything. I hope that makes sense. Anybody that enters this group does not have permission to do anything. You get that? So two things we can do. We can add permission to the group and then we can add users to the group. So if you notice, there are 4 columns we can see. Group name, users, permissions, and create time. Can we see it? Can we all see it? Please hover your cursor on it so that they can see it. The group name, the users, permissions, and then creation time. So those are the 4 columns we have there. Okay, so we just created one group. And if you watch under users, there's nothing there. That's why it's 0. So it's telling you there is no users in this group. And this third column, which is permissions, telling you there is no permissions in this group. And the creation time means now. We just created it now. Okay? So friends, let's do these two things, then we'll wrap up the session. Okay? So how do we solve this two problem? One is to create is to add a user to the group, and the second one is to create a permission. I hope that makes sense. Good. So we can click on the group name. So let's click on the group name. Sorry, you see the cloud group you created. Cloud group. Just click on it. Beautiful. Good. So this is the specific user the group we just created. Okay. Now, if you notice at the bottom, there are 3 groups there, or 3 tabs: users, permission, and access advisor. Can you see them? Users, permissions, and access advisor. Okay. So the users is for where we can add users to that group. Permissions is where we can add permissions for that group. Okay. So, and then access advisor is just to tell us who has access and what they do with those access. Do you understand? And whether you should retrieve a certain permission and so on. But we're not going to touch on it for now. Okay. So under users, did you notice that there is no users? That's why I say no resources to display at the bottom there. Okay. For users, can you see no resources to display at the bottom? Okay. Can you see it? Yes. Please come down a little bit. Come down a bit. Come down. You see no resource to display. Yes. Come down. Beautiful. No resource to display because there is no users in this. Okay, good. Now we are going to click on add user, which is by the right hand side. Can you see add users? Beautiful. So that is add users there. Yes, add user. So we want to add this user, a user to this group. So this is the only user we have in this account. Okay, so we are going to check the box called Olumide. So if you have many users, you'll be the one to select the user you want. Okay, and then you see the yellow button at the bottom or orange button at the bottom right, and you select add users. So once you click on it, it's going to add the user to the group. Did you see that? Did you notice it's saying users in group? And you see in brackets, it says 1. Okay, so this is how to add users to the group. So let's do the next one, which is permissions. So click on permissions, please. So right now, there's 0 permissions in this group. So which means any user in this group does not have any permission. All right. So how do we give it a permission? Can you see add permission by the right side? Beautiful. So if we click on it, there are 2 ways, but I'm just going to show you one. So click on the attach policies. Good. So let's just choose any policy. Anyone. It's just illustration. Just check any of the boxes. Beautiful. Then scroll down and just say attach policies. Beautiful. So now, can you now click on users group by the left side where we have users? Click on the users group again, left side. Beautiful. Yes. So if you click there, good. Did you now notice that those things we had are no longer there? So one user has been added, permissions has been defined. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how to create a user. This is how to create a group and also attach the user to the group. I'll just do a final summary explanation and then we'll stop for today. I'm sorry that I've stretched your time. I'm sorry for the technical issues. So I'm going to share my screen right now. Thank you so much, Mr. Tayo. Sir, friends, watch the screen. Let me know when you can see it so I can do this illustration. I'm going to share my screen. Let me know, please, when you can see my screen. Can you all see my screen? Okay. So this is all what we have. This is what we've done so far, right? Now, but before I touch on anything like this, I want to show you something I had sketched before this session. I had it before now, okay? This is everything we've done today, okay? two ways to access AWS, okay? Either using the CLI or using the GUI. Don't worry about this for now, all right? It's beyond the scope of this class. So just know that through the CLI or through the GUI. And there are two types of users, okay? And it's what I've explained, which is the root user and the IAM user. Now, this is an example of a microfinance bank, okay? Now, and if you see here, there are 120 staffs, okay, with resources. And you see in IT department, we have, this is department of group of people, finance department, security department, HR department. So we did a migration using the IAM components, all right? Users, groups, roles, and policy, okay? In a typical IT department, we have Mary, Ima, and Ayo, okay? So this is an IT department group. So we have users there, Ima, Mary, and Ayo. And everybody in this group has access to resource S3, RDS, and EC2, okay? Those in finance group, they only have access to a resource called S3, and the access they have is read only. Those in the security group, they don't have any access at all. Those in the HR department, they only have access to the S3. This, in a nutshell, is how AWS works. This is how identity and access management works, okay? You use users, you add the users to the account, you use groups to group them and give them a specific permission, all right? And you do that, you add the permission using an IAM component called policy, okay? Once you attach that policy, which is a collection of permissions, okay? So we're going to still touch that. That's why I'm trying not to rush anything. So once you apply the permission or policy to that group, it defines what the person can do, the resource he has access to. Do you have all the resource? One of the things we've learned is that if a group or a user has admin access policy, it means the person can do anything. I'm sure you noticed that. If you have admin access policy, it means you can do so many things. You have access to virtually all the services. Okay? So now, but if you want to now regulate what the person can do, you can now start fine-tuning, okay? Editing the policy. So the policy is what we use to regulate the permission a user or a group have access to, okay? I'm not going to touch on role right now because it's going to take us time to explain it so that you all can understand. So this analogy is what we are trying to replicate here, okay, with these examples I am using. So this is where your class or your task is for today. Between now and the next class, which is going to be on Wednesday, okay? So I want everybody, okay? So it's not going to be, I don't know if we should make it compulsory, but there's going to be a compulsory task. So what I just want from you all is we're going to create a channel, or I'll find a way to see how we will collect it. But what we want from you all is create your AWS account, okay? I want you to create a group. So you're going to create 4 groups, IT department, on your AWS account, okay? Remember, everything you are doing is going to be using the IAM user you created. Don't forget, okay? I told you to stop using your root account. Remember, I told you how to create an IAM user that has admin access. Start using that one henceforth. If you're confused, please send us a message, all right? Or notify us, and we'll guide you so you can understand better. So all you need to do, friend, is this. With the new IAM account you have right now that has admin access, use it to create 4 groups, 4 user groups: IT departments, finance departments, HR departments, security departments. I want you to add some users into it. If you want to work with 552, that's fine, okay? Just create some users, okay? Once you create those users, add them to the group, okay? Now, I want you to, okay, if you know how to, Fine. I want you to, so this is what I want us to do for the IT department. Okay. I want you to give them access. So you can just go and learn how to do it. Okay. So give them a policy. There's a policy called EC2 full access. So you can read this up. Okay. Or you can write it down so that you can remember. Give the IT department EC2 full access. Okay. EC2 full access and S3 full access. Okay. EC2 full access and S3 full access. Okay, those in the IT department. Those in the finance department, okay, don't give them any access at all. Okay, don't give them any policy at all. Those in the security department, okay, or you can either change this to security or audit department. I want you to give them what we call read only policy. So this is EC2 and S3. This is no policy. This is read only policy. Okay. And this is S3 policy. Okay. I'll write it so that you can remember it when you want to do the task. Okay. So EC2 and S3 full access. Okay. And then we have none. And then we have read only. And then we have S3 full access. So this is for the IT department. IT department. This is for the IT department. Sorry. So the one for none is for the finance department. Okay. And the one for the read only is for the audit. Let's change it to audit instead of security. And the one for the S3 is for the HR department. Okay. So that's the task I'm giving you all. All right. So I'm going to shift this so you can all see it. So you can understand that those in the IT department has this. Those in finance, those in audit, and those in HR has this. So this is the task I'm giving you all. So I'm sure if you understand, if you watch the video again and again, you should be able to do this. This is not difficult. Okay. Any question? This is where we're going to stop for today. Yes. Yes, this is where we're going to stop for today. So if you have any question, this is a good time to ask me. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Thank you. Thank you. If you have any question, please, this is a good time to ask me. Other than that, thank you so much for your patience. I know we stayed longer, the technical issues we had and so on. Okay, I think we have only two persons that has questions. So Mr. Celestine and Popple, Popple Blessing, I don't know if you have questions or you raise your hand for some other reason. So if you have questions, just type on the comment section so I can unmute you and so you can. Okay, yes, I'm going to pass across information on how to submit the assignments. All right, I'm going to let you know how to submit the assignments. Say somebody said, please, do we search for EC2 and S3? Yes. In fact, let me give you just because of time, right? So I would have shown you how to do this, but again, just when you get to that policies section, you're going to see a search bar there. You know, you just saw the admin access without searching for it. There were about 1,000 plus. If you check there, there's a search bar. You can just type EC2 full access or just type EC2 and it will show you full access. Then you can just check that box. That's it. Okay. So that's the clue to solving that. All right. So Celestine has a question. Let me unmute your mic. If you do, let me know. I just allowed your mic. You can unmute yourself, Mr. Celestine, if you have a question. If you have a question, please let me know so that I can unmute you. Other than that, I will be responding to the comments. Will this recording be available tonight? Yes, Mr. Femi. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Okay.
Good
Somebody
evening.
says.
Good evening, Mr. Frederick.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Celestine Mamude. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Please, that policy, is it the same thing as permission?
I want you to see policy as collections of permissions. Okay, just collections of permissions
Okay.
is what we call
Because
policy. It's
when
a document. Okay, go ahead, please.
okay,
I'm trying to
yeah, because
use
when we are
familiar words so that we don't get confused. Okay, I don't want
because
to be
actually
too
when
technical. Go ahead, please.
because actually when we are to create the group, when we are to
Mm-hmm.
create the group, the IT department, the security department, and the likes of them, we are going to place different users under them, or what to give them
Mm-hmm.
a name on our own. Because I'm kind of confused. Where are we going to find the policy? Because only permissions there. We have users bar, the permissions bar, and the access advisor. So we are
Okay,
going to find the policies that we're going to attach
you
to them.
just click on that permissions. If you click on the when you
Yeah,
get to the group, when you get to the group, once you've added the user, you see a tab called
yeah.
permissions. Just click on the permissions. And if you look by the right, it will tell you add permission. Now, when you try to add permission, it will bring you that policy page where you can select the policy you want to.
Okay, okay,
Yes.
okay,
So that's what I meant by policy are just collections of permissions. A simpler way of making you understand that. Okay.
okay.
If you get confused, you can
Thank you
always
very
drop
much.
comments and we will help. You're welcome, sir.
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you.
So, Mr. Toby said, I could not see the other person's screen during presentation. Yes, I am so certain it will be on the recording. If I could see it, then yes, you will be able to see it as well. All right. Thank you for your understanding. Okay. So, Teslim. Okay, let me unmute you. Friends, you can always type your comments, or if you prefer to say something, I will just unmute your mic and you can say something. Hello, Mr. Teslim. Go ahead. You can unmute yourself right now.
All right, thank you
Okay.
very much. I
You're
have
welcome to.
one question. So my first question is why, when I created AWS accounts, I was trying to make sure that uh, I didn't fall into a pit where they will and create a cloud wall that
I think we're
setting
struggling
in
to hear
that
you.
particular function. Hello, can you hear
Would
me?
you? Yes, come again, please, so I can get every detail.
Okay, I said I was trying to I activated CloudWatch notification. So I want to confirm if it is something that they will later deduct me for the service CloudWatch notification.
Okay. Now, actually, we are supposed to touch something on setting a budget, right? But because of time, I think one of the things I will do is to create a video that's supposed to accompany today's session, right? A video that has to do with budgeting. Okay. Now, but if just because of time, that's the only reason why I did not dive deeper into it. You understand? So, but if you already know how to do it, that's fine. Although CloudWatch is different, okay, from budgets, but of course, behind the scene, it's a monitoring thing that helps to monitor your services and then triggers it and sends you an alert SMS. All right. So if you already know how to configure that, great. That's fine. Okay. That wouldn't in any way spike your bill. All right.
Okay, my main question is why hadn't did permission policy to one of the group? You mentioned that we should add full read-only permission. Is it S3 read-only permission?
Mm-mm, it's not. I deliberately did not explain further because I know some persons would think it's S3 or this. No, it's neither S3 or it's just read only. So the person will just he'll be able to see everything, but he just has read only. It's there. Check. You'll be able to see it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, it's there. You're welcome. All right. So Mr. Babatunde, okay, let me allow you. Okay, go ahead. Please, you can unmute yourself.
Hello, sir.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
evening.
yeah. The question I was as I just got it. I was trying to log in the admin, the new IAM user for that allows for admin participation. So I was trying to like get the permission and log in again. I have to like change the password. I just got it just now that you just on my laptop just when you're about to meet me. Thank you very much. I will appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome, sir. You're welcome.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Please, the group, sorry, still little. Maybe if I watch the video, I'll get it. The group, adding, if I watch the video again, I'll get the group. I mean the assignment. But thank you. It was very clear. The rest.
Okay, sir.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome. Okay. So somebody is asking for the image we used. So I think let me see if I can download this, and let me remove the scaling size to. Hold on, please. Let me see. Wait. Wait. Somebody asked for this. Okay, what will happen is I'll share it after the session, right? If you can still hear me, don't worry. I'll share this after the session, and then you can have access to it. All right? Yeah. So any other person with a question? Mr. Dozier, we are already wrapping up. So, okay, I think somebody with the name T. Okay, so this might be the second to the last question we'll take, and then we'll just wrap it up. It's already past 11 down here in Nigeria. So if you're joining us from other parts of the country, it's midnight already. So, go ahead, Mr. T. You can unmute yourself. Or Mr.
Hi,
or Mrs.
sorry,
T.
good
Not
evening.
sure. Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, please. Good
Yeah,
evening.
sorry. I just
You're
wanted to confirm. You already answered, but I didn't get your answer about the task you gave.
welcome.
Is it S3 full access or read only? Or
For
read
which
only
of the
access?
departments? Which of the departments?
For the HR, for the HR.
For the HR departments, S3 full access. Yes. Do you understand?
Okay, how about the other one? For the IT, for the IT?
For the IT department is EC2 and what is it called? The EC2 and then the S3 full access. Can you see it? EC2
Okay,
and
okay.
S3 full
No, no
access.
read
Yep.
only there. No.
No, it's just the
Okay,
audit
all right. Thank
department
you.
that's read only. Yes. Okay. So
Okay.
oh wow.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome, madam. Okay, so I think another person. So this will be the last question. Mr.
Hello.
Edu. Okay, Mr. Babatunde, go ahead while I meet the
Sorry,
last
please.
person.
Yeah, sorry. That means in order to create the group, we must have actually created like about several IMA users in order to create the
Yes.
group.
Yes.
Probably create like 12 already, or let's say 15. Then place them into groups.
Exactly. Yes.
Wow. Oh, that's thank you.
So the idea is just so that we can just retain and understand. It becomes second nature. So you know, the more you do it again and again, you can understand the whole thing. Okay. All right. Mr. What's it called? Osaru Onamen. Please, would you want to unmute yourself? Osaru Onamen. Mr. or Mrs. I think maybe a Mrs. Osaru Onamen. Please go ahead if you have a
Yeah, good
question.
evening.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, please.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm something from you. Like I followed the due process you took us on regarding us creating a IAM user via our root user. I did that and I created 4 users via my root user as well. Then I logged on my own user. You said we should create. You said we should create a our own personal user, right? That we can use to do our assignment and all. So I created it. Then I logged it